Persona has a lot of games nowadays, so much so to the point where it's kind of easy to forget some of them even exist. Like, sometimes I forget Persona 3 Vanilla exists, but I think this game takes the cake as the most obscure Persona game to ever exist. Probably. Persona the Anomalous Tower Chronicles is a Persona 1 mobile game developed by Bbmf and was released on December 18th, 2006. It was released on Steam as part of the Gmod archives on September 28th, 2023, and received a fan translation not too long after it was released. I won't lie, there are very few things I liked about this game. In fact, I was having full-on rants multiple times throughout playing it. Dude, oh my god, I hate this game. I hate it. I actually hate this game so much, it's unfucking believable. But I want to be as fair as possible since this is a mobile game from 2006. My initial draft for this video was very negative, but I feel like that kind of video goes against the spirit of my channel and Persona. So sit back while I give y'all a history lesson about this piece of once lost Persona media. I hope you enjoy. First and foremost, I actually want to say I'm very happy this game got ported. No matter how much I might hate this game, it is a very beautiful thing to see preservation in the modern era where game developers just really don't care about their work. And I really hope they port other games like Persona 3M in the future, so shout out, like seriously. The game takes place near the start of Persona 1's Seebeck route, but instead of the Diva system in the Seebeck building taking everyone to the alternate world, it takes them to the Anomalous Tower. This makes it the first and only spin-off, if you can really even call it that, to take place in the middle of the mainline story rather than afterward. This is the problem though. Since this game takes place in the middle of the story, and at the beginning no less, they can't really do much with the characters lest they rehash the same song and dance they did for the main game itself. What this results in is quite frankly a worthless story that adds nothing. Like, I really mean nothing. I'm going to summarize this game in its entirety in like 30 seconds, and keep in mind this game took me 15 hours to complete. You're teleported to the Anomalous Tower, then Igor appears and says we're in a parallel dimension. It's revealed all of the cast are in this tower as well, and the only way to escape is to make it to the top of the tower with 9 orbs you have to find throughout the tower, and each person can only activate 1 orb, and we just so happen to have the exact amount of people required to hold each orb, very convenient. You meet a little girl named Maria and allow her to follow you to the top of the tower so she can escape and be safe. As you advance up the tower, you meet all the cast and obtain all the orbs. Once you're at the top, it's revealed that Maria was a demon all along and wants to destroy the world. So you defeat her and then escape the tower to continue the Seebeck route. That is the entire story. I'm dead serious. Also, the whole Maria thing is just stupid as hell because the whole idea is she was using us to open the portal at the top of the tower since she couldn't activate all 9 orbs herself. So if this was the case, why not just wait at the top of the tower for us anyways? Why bother following us the whole way up? You know what, whatever, let's not think too deeply into it. So if the story is basically non-existent, I guess this game is just meant to be a mini version of Persona 1's combat you can take with you on the go, which is actually quite impressive for the time. Admittedly, I'm not the biggest fan of Persona 1's gameplay loop, so that's why I can't say I enjoyed this game too much. But if you do like the gameplay, then yeah, you might actually like this game. It gets very repetitive, but it could be something nice to play when you're bored or something like that. For most people though, I wouldn't recommend it. Okay, let me talk about the gameplay in detail. Take note of what you see on screen in this rest area, and take note of the dungeon. Now, I have just shown you this game in its entirety. Every single floor looks exactly like this. The only difference is that the walls change color. That's it. Now you want to take a guess on how many floors are in this tower? 30, 40, maybe even 50. I mean, 50 is a lot for a mobile game like this, right? How about 99 floors? 99 floors of a game that looks the exact same the entire way through. So imagine Persona 3 if the entire game was only Tartarus with no story, the combat system was Persona 1's, there was little variety in the music, and every floor looked the same. That is this game. That's not all though, because the AI in this game are pretty bad. This is to be expected of a mobile game, but since this is the only thing you're doing in this game, it's just something to consider. I beat the entire game, final boss included, with a level 18 Persona. The AI are super predictable, and the only real chance you have of dying is if the game says fuck you and decides to give the enemies a free ambush. Other than that, you are not dying. But this leads me into yet another design choice this game made. If you die in this game, you don't get a game over. Instead, you're taken to the beginning of the tower where all of your equipment, money, and items are removed. The only things you keep are your personas and level. This is actually a fairly interesting concept, but to get back to where you previously were, you have to take a teleporter to the last rest area. You get a rest area every 10 floors or so after beating a mini boss that will give you one of the 9 orbs. But for some reason they decided to break this pattern at the end of the tower. Let's say you die at the final boss. The last rest area before then is floor 80, so you have to go through 20 more floors to have a shot at the final boss again. And I don't know if I mentioned this yet, but the floors are randomly generated, there's no autosave, and you cannot save in the middle of the tower, only in the rest areas. Since the floors get bigger after every rest area or so, they get to this size. It really does just take forever to get through the floors, which became monotonous to say the least. They tried to balance the fact you lose all your items and whatnot by giving you an item box thing called the warehouse where you can deposit your items, money, and all that good jazz. I see what they were trying to do with this, but I'm gonna be totally honest, I never used this. If I died, I just reloaded my save and counted my losses. Speaking of items, this is the only Persona game to have an item limit, so that's kind of random and it's hardly an issue. I'm not too sure what the idea was behind this mechanic actually. So what about personas and fusing? How do they work? They work exactly the same as the main game itself. In fact, it is so much the same thing you can look up a contact guide for the PSP version and use that for this game. So if you for some reason want to play this game, then I recommend you do that. For those that don't know how it worked in the main game, to fuse a new persona, you need to get cards from demons that you can use to fuse in the Velvet Room. To get a demon's card, you need to raise their eagerness to the max and ask for it while also being the same level or higher than the demon you're talking to. I hated this system in Persona 1 itself, so obviously I hated it here, but I won't go too deep into it since I made a whole video going over that basically. There is something interesting with fusing in this game though. You can obtain the highest tier skills on any persona. All you have to do is fuse a persona during a full moon, use a healing item when you fuse, and you'll have a 1 in 11 chance to get a crazy skill. Not sure who thought this was a good idea, but if you choose to abuse this, then the game gets even easier. Also, oh my god y'all, there's something I've forgotten to mention, but I cannot for the life of me figure out how damage is calculated in this game. I'll see a demon use the exact same skills and it'll vary in damage by an insane amount. Naoya was getting fucking grapefruit techniqued, man. I couldn't figure out I couldn't figure out what was going on, man. He died every fight. I was raising everyone's stats the same when they leveled up, which is actually a really cool feature. I'll give this game that for sure. You can level up basically whatever you want on any character, which is nice, but more importantly, I would have everyone with the same equipment and roughly the same level, but Naoya would still die like every fight. I don't know how or why, so if someone can tell me, I would love that, but I kind of doubt anybody's going to know anything about this game, so I guess I'm out of luck. The biggest pitfall of this game for me though is the music. I can't put into words how draining it is to go through all 99 floors while listening to the same 3 40-second MIDI loops for hours on end. There are 4 songs in this game, but one of them is the final boss theme, so you only hear it for one fight. I felt like my brain was leaking through my ears playing this game, and I actually started to feel sick after playing it for more than 30 minutes at a time. Even with the filters the port gives you, it just still makes me feel sick, man. So I highly advise you not to play this game for very long. Even if you're the biggest Persona 1 fan in the world, I have basically shown you everything this game has to offer, and it was like, what, this video, 8 minutes? It adds little to nothing to the lore, and the gameplay is basically the same as Persona 1. If you've played Persona 1, you've in spirit already completed this game as well. If you do somehow want to play this game, I'll have a link to the Steam page in the description for you to check out. That's about all I've got to say for this video. I hope you enjoyed getting a little history lesson, if you will, about this extremely obscure game. It's been your boy Yandere Gogeta, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out everybody, and have a great day.